the record awaiting the jurors who are ready to come in. I understand there needs to be another record, as well as Brian checked with the jury clerk, and 189 was actually wrong number. It was actually 303. So they have, everybody is present and accounted for, so there'll be no bench warrants based on the juror numbers.
Got it. So the issue that we just want to make a record of preemptively, as the public defender's office has done in prior trials, where, as I say, it's not exactly a Batson challenge, but it is making a record of it there that the jury pool is very, very white when the defendant is not. And so the record that I just want to make here is that is what it's looking like now. It's not what it looked like at the start. And because that kept happening, I kept track. It looks like there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 jurors of color who were dismissed in your questioning before the people even got to any of the questioning.
For cause.
All for cause. And then there were 2 more for cause, both that were ended up being juror number 1 at the beginning of my questioning. So I'm just making there to be a record because I don't know what's going to happen here or who I'm going to feel that I need to use my preemptive challenge for. But I just want to make sure there is a good record here that the jury pool has now gotten significantly less diverse after judge questioning. Well, it's not anything depriving of rights or anything along those lines. In preemption of any potential Batson issues down the road, I just wanted to make that record now.
Okay, and I have not looked to see if there's any injuries left or not, but certainly Batson challenge record is always good to make. Counsel?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much. I appreciate the comments offered by Mr. Pfeiffer. I did not count non-whites from the pool. Is that what you're using as pool?
Yeah.
Okay. And I am also aware that the current state of our law is that it matters not whether a person of the same origin as my client was called to the witness box. It just matters whether they were part of the pool. And so long as there was a representative sample in the pool, I don't believe there's merit in challenging based on that. So thank you.
Well, and I believe I have to see how many actually reported, but we requested 120 jurors, and they actually got me 124 jurors because of so many charges that we knew we would lose many. So there was originally a very good pool, a very good mix, but through no fault of anybody, we have lost those numbers. I have no idea how many are left. So let's proceed, and then if we need to make further record, we will.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The jurors, please.
All rise.
thank you. You all may be seated.
Your Honor, can we approach very
Yeah.
briefly?
Yes. Yes.
That way you just get skilled at the next round.
Great. All right, thank you. Mr. Freeman is going to be asking questions, and juror 10 has been released, so we will fill juror 10's seat after Mr. Freeman is done. Mr. Freeman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. You're in seat number 3. I understand you're a teacher.
Yes,
Do you mind sharing with us what grade and where?
7th grade science for public schools.
Thank you. Yes. My first set of questions are really easy. It's just to touch base on qualifications. If there's anyone currently seated who does not live in Ingham County, please raise your hand. I see no hands raised. Everyone lives in Ingham County. Thank you. If any of you are 70 years of age or older, it's not necessarily disqualifying. You may serve as a juror, but if you prefer not to, you could possibly be excused. Anyone in that category? I see no hands. Thank you. You're in seat number 13. You saw how many folks were excused early on.
Yes.
And my memory, it may be yours, it may not. A great many of them said, boy, 18 counts. I just don't know. I can't be fair. And I take it that because you're still seated, you believe that you can be. Is that true?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to explore other possibilities other than the number of charges pending. Okay. Can you see my client, Mr. Brooks, from where you're sitting?
Yes.
Can you see his head here?
I can see us here in the front.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you see his facial hair?
Yes.
Does he appear to you to be look like someone who could commit these kind of crimes?
I don't know what somebody would look like that would commit any crime.
As you can see,
So,
I'm
no.
wearing a hearing piece. So
I don't know.
okay, thank you. Is it fair to say you can't tell just by looking at someone?
Correct.
Thank you. Let's see. You're in seat number 4. You know a little bit about baseball?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I know there's.
All right. Well, I appreciate your honesty. You're in seat number 1. You know a little bit about baseball?
Not really, no. Not a sports guy.
Who knows a little bit about baseball? All right. You're in seat number 6. Thank you. If a batter hits the ball that's pitched to him and it sails over the left center field scoreboard, is that a home run?
Yes.
What if the hitter, the runner, does not touch second base? Is it a home run?
No, he has to touch all the bases.
All right. I chose that simple example because I believe that the thrust of this trial will be all about this ball going over the left center field scoreboard. But if you don't touch all the bases, it's all for naught. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right, and you're gonna hear more about this from the judge at the conclusion, but the idea here is that each of the 18 charges are made up of parts called elements. And it is not enough for the prosecutor to simply allege that these crimes were committed. He has to touch every base. He has to prove each and every count and each element beyond any reasonable doubt. Can you appreciate that?
Yes.
Would you hold him to that standard?
Yes.
Thank you. I can't be sure exactly of the order of witnesses or the amount of evidence that is going to be brought your way. But, and if you don't mind, I'll continue with juror number 6. If you and I are standing on the parking lot and I tell you the moon is made of green cheese, we're just talking. If I come in here in this courtroom, judge asked me to raise my right hand and I swear to tell the truth. And if I sit in that chair and I say the moon is made of green cheese, that's evidence that the moon is made of green cheese. It's testimonial evidence. You're free to accept it or reject it, accept part of it, reject the rest, whatever you believe is appropriate. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Juror in seat number 9, may I ask you, whenever it may have been, and perhaps never, but have you ever been stood up for a date?
No.
Good for you. Any female who's been just stood up for a date, could have been back in high school, college, anytime? No? Okay. Well, in that case, then, I'm going to respectfully ask juror number 8. You could appreciate, I trust, that if that did happen, there'd be some emotional feelings attached, at least initially. Okay. And if we take that a step further and you discover that your husband or your boyfriend was sleeping with your best girlfriend, and soon thereafter, you made these allegations, would that have any impact on the veracity of the truthfulness or your concern as to whether that testimony is credible?
Repeat that question.
Sure. What I'm trying to get at is whether, in your opinion, and just based on life, okay, if someone calls 911 and wants to report a crime, whether it is significant, the circumstances surrounding placing the call. If the female placing a call to the 911 had just discovered that her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, husband, was sleeping with the woman's best girlfriend, might that influence your opinion as to the credibility of those complaints?
Yes.
Anyone who would not be affected, raise your hand, please. I see no hands raised. Thank you. I believe we're going to hear some testimony about obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Anyone afflicted with that particular disorder? I see no hands. Anyone know someone, a family member, a close friend, somebody at the office who is afflicted with that? Anyone? Yes, I see, I think 3 hands. You're in seat number 13. I'm not asking you for a name, But is this a family member or a friend? Or,
No, professionally.
okay. And have you come to an understanding as to whether there are typically symptoms associated with that disorder?
Yes.
If you know, and if you don't, just say, I don't know. Do you know whether there are medications available to help with that disorder?
There can be some, yes.
Thank you. I believe we're going to hear some testimony too about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Anyone affected with PTSD currently seated? I see no hands. Anyone have a family member, close friend, neighbor, somebody at church, somebody at the office who is afflicted? Juror in seat number 14, I'm not asking for a name. Can you help me understand the relationship between you and this person?
I have a sibling who is a military veteran.
It's not you, it's me. Pardon me?
I have a sibling who is a military veteran.
You know anything else about that disorder?
I have read a little bit about it, and then if he decides to speak about it with me, then, but I can't, I mean, that's his particular experience.
Okay.
I wouldn't claim to be an expert at all.
Did I see another hand raised? Yes, you're in seat number 5. Oh, excuse me, 2. I'm going the wrong way. Seat number 2.
Mine's actually the same circumstance. My brother was in the army and he's also afflicted.
Have you done any research or spoken to him with respect to the symptoms of that disorder?
Minimally.
Okay. What's your understanding as to the common behaviors or symptoms involved?
It's a broad range. Could be anything depending on the individual's experience.
And by that, is it your understanding, and I'm not asking you for a medical opinion, but is it your understanding that post-traumatic stress disorder typically sets in after a particular experience or multiple experiences? Thank you. You're in seat number 11. I get caught up on this one sometimes. If you were on trial, if you were sitting in the seat that Mr. Brooks is currently sitting in, would you want someone like you on your jury?
Oh, yeah,
Is that because you believe you can be fair and impartial?
yes,
I'm also asking you because of your gender. Is it likely you could feel some sympathy, some empathy, some pity for a female whose testimony consists of things the prosecutor claims is torture?
sure,
Would you nevertheless be able to, in your mind, judge credibility?
yes,
You're in seat number 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hear from time to time this word believe or believable. Okay. Would you be okay substituting the word reliable? Was someone's testimony reliable, regardless of whether you believed it?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. I'm trying to get the point across, and I'm just asking if you agree that instead of believing what someone's saying, okay, you found for other reasons that what they told you was credible, whether you believed it or not.
I suppose so.
Still, is it my question that's odd, or?
I suppose it would depend on situation.
Oh, of course, sure,
But yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
okay. There were, I think, 3 of you who raised their hand when council asked whether you had ever served on a jury before. Jury number 14, I think yours was a civil trial.
Correct, yes.
Who were the other 3, if you don't mind? Thank you. Jury number 8, that was a criminal matter.
Yes, it was.
And again, I'm not asking you what the verdict was, but my memory was that you said that the jury you were on did reach a verdict.
That is correct.
All right. Do you recall whether that was a case involving torture?
It was not.
Was that a case involving criminal sexual conduct?
No.
Was it a case involving any of the allegations Judge read to you earlier?
No, it was not.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I lost track. Thank you. Juror in seat number 3, my same questions. It was a criminal case?
No, mine was civil.
I'm sorry?
Civil.
Oh, okay. Was there one more person previously sat on a jury?
It was 10 indeed.
Okay. Thank you. Juror in seat number 8. I take it that when you arrived here this morning, you didn't know anything about the case, anything about who was involved. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. I didn't know anything about it.
All right. Did you also walk into this room with a personal belief that trials are about finding the truth?
Yes. And the evidence.
And how is it that you're able to, well, either how did you develop that, or why do you think trials are all about finding the truth?
The basis of our democracy. I'm
I
sorry,
see.
the basis of our democracy is having a fair trial. And everybody deserves a fair trial.
I couldn't agree with you more. On the other hand, you have heard, I'm sure, on the news or read in the paper about folks who, 20 years and he's released, he's exonerated, the DNA shows it wasn't him. That trial didn't have a whole lot to do with the truth, did it?
Well, it did have a lot, and the truth was there.
Well, all right, but nevertheless, in an example like I've just shared with you, not with any individual particularly, but that person was charged. That person had a trial. That person was convicted, and that person was sentenced. And it wasn't until, typically 15, 20, 25 years later that, oh my goodness, we have additional evidence where the DNA shows it wasn't him at all. Right. And they don't say that that person is not guilty. They say he's exonerated. Is that a term that you've heard?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So again, you continue to believe that trials are about the truth?
Is that a yes?
Yes.
The complaining witness in this trial is a Miss Clark. I think you'll see her Monday. You're in seat number 7. If Miss Clark, or frankly anyone, makes a statement to law enforcement on this day, and then later makes essentially an identical statement to a follow-up detective, testifies at a hearing in the lower district court, and they're pretty consistent, okay? Can you imagine any reason whatsoever why someone would come into a circuit court trial and change their story?
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Okay. It would be expected, would you agree? It'd be expected that,
There would be consistency, yes.
okay, thank you. You're in seat number 2. You're a scientist?
Yes.
Excellent. Can you help me understand with a little more particularity?
So I actually just got a new job, but it's still in the realm of science. I was testing heavy metals in blood and urine for the state of Michigan. My new job is a chemical threat coordinator where I do outreach with hospitals and hazmat teams to make sure that they keep the state of Michigan lab in mind in chemical exposure events, large scale.
The Michigan lab, are you referring to the Michigan Department of State Police Crime Laboratory?
No,
You have not had any affiliation as a scientist for the Department of State Police?
No.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. You're in seat number 1. I think your information sheet suggested you're manager of a restaurant
Yes,
here in town.
yes.
How long have you been in that position?
About 8, 9 years.
Whether it was Mr. Pfeiffer's question or any of the ones that I offered thus far, would you have answered in a particular way that we should know about? Seat number 8, you're retired. Do you mind if I ask from where?
From Hope, Michigan.
You work for the township?
I work for the state of Michigan.
I beg your pardon. And I think you just said that again. I'm sorry. In what capacity?
I was a professional buyer.
Thank you very much. Sure, number 9. You're in the medical profession, is that right? Okay. I suspect strongly that there may be some testimony from more than one witness about physical injuries. Okay. If you continue to be on our jury and you are back with 11 others deliberating, would you feel as though, given your profession, you have a louder opinion, for example, as to any evidence that's offered in this trial with respect to injuries?
Medically, I might have a better understanding.
Okay. Okay. Let me just ask you one specific question. What is a bruise?
What is a bruise?
What is,
Something that's caused by force, hitting, running into something, a mark on the skin.
and regardless of ethnicity, is that typically something that develops immediately?
If they're hit hard enough, probably, yeah.
Okay. As a registered nurse, are you able, based on your education and experience, would you feel comfortable rendering an opinion, looking at a bruise and saying that bruise is X hours old or X days old?
Days maybe, but not like specific hours. You can tell when something's fresh versus old
And how would one do that?
by the coloring of it.
I'd like you to answer, but I'm tempted to. What about the darkness of the bruise? Is that significant in terms of telling you how long it's been there?
Not necessarily.
Does it indicate anything as to the trauma that was inflicted?
Like the force of
Yeah.
how could be.
You're in seat number 13. I should know myself, but I think you indicated your profession is a behavioral health supervisor.
Yes,
Briefly, could you help me understand a little bit more about that?
yeah, I work for community mental health, I supervise behavioral health services. I'm a director of our programs that houses our substance use services, some of our healthcare integration services, and all of our correctional based services in the Tri-County area.
Okay, thank you. And community mental health, are you a county employee?
No,
Do you know anything at all about this case before you walked in this morning?
No.
Thank you. Okay. I think that's all I have, Your Honor. I'm just double checking. Yeah, just, the last question is just of general nature. If any of you believe that you probably shouldn't serve on this jury, maybe a different jury, you're feeling uneasy or awkward or not comfortable in the current shoes you're wearing, could you raise your hand for me, please? I see no hands raised. My thanks to the court.
On behalf of the people for cause,
None for cause, Your Honor.
on behalf of the defendant for cause,
No, Your Honor.
on behalf of the people peremptory, you may do multiple.
Your Honor, at this time, people would like to thank and excuse juror number 11.
Anyone else?
That's it.
Thank you. On behalf of defendant, at this time, sir, you're excused. Thank you very much. On behalf of defendant, anyone?
Your Honor, if I could have just 15 seconds.
You may.
Thank you. Your Honor, the defense, and thank you for that moment, the defense would like to thank you, respectfully excuse prospective jurors in seat 2, 6, and 7. Thank you.
Thank you. 2, 6, and 7, you're excused. As to juror seat 10.
Pool sequence number 386.
As to juror seat 11.
Pool sequence number 217.
As to juror seat 2.
Pool sequence number 379.
Juror seat 6.
Pool sequence number 372.
Hang on 1 second.
3726.
7102.
796.
It comes back. Nope, we're good, Judge, I got it.
All right. And finally, juror seat 7.
Pool sequence number 186.
When you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. All right, these questions are only going to be for the new additions to the jury pool, or to the panel, I'm sorry. Now, I know that you guys were listening to what we asked before. There are some questions where I simply have to ask again. I wouldn't be doing my job if I did. But from the jump, is there anything that you heard us talk about that you feel they have a really strong opinion on that you feel that we should know, serving as a juror?
No.
Okay. Because of the graphic nature of this type of case, do any of you feel that listening to Alyssa tell you about what happened to her in detail would make you so uncomfortable it would be difficult for you to sit through this trial and pay attention to the evidence that's coming in?
No.
Juror number 7, sorry. Is that a no?
No.
Have any of you, either yourselves or a close friend or family member that you're aware of, been the victim of domestic violence, domestic abuse? Juror number 10. Who do you know who was the victim of this type of abuse?
Me.
And how long ago was it?
2 years ago.
Okay. Now, given what you went through back then, are you going to be able to sit here and listen to Alyssa tell you what happened to her and keep separate what happened to you?
Think so, yeah.
Okay. And juror number 7, who do you know who was the victim of this type of abuse?
Oh, myself.
And how long ago was this?
3 years.
Now, again, the same type of question. If Alyssa's here looking at you, telling you about the abuse that she suffered, are you going to be able to listen to her critically, pay attention to the details she's saying, and keep separate what happened to you in the past?
Yes.
All right. Jurors number 7 and 10. Did either of you report to the police what happened to you?
No.
Juror 7, again, this is one of those probing questions that I have to ask. Why did you not end up telling the police about what happened?
I was just ashamed.
Juror number 10.
I was afraid.
What were you afraid of? Most broad terms.
Physical abuse.
Retaliation?
Yeah.
Does anyone here think that those are uncommon reasons someone wouldn't talk to the police about what happened to them? Would any of you be surprised to hear that someone who's been in domestic abuse didn't immediately leave their abuser after it happened? If you were to hear Alyssa tell you, she wrote back to him after the first time he put his hands on her, would any of you be less likely to believe her when she says he put his hands on her? Now, part of this trial is going to be judging credibility of witnesses. This isn't like an embezzlement case or a retail fraud, shoplifting case where everything is very, let's call it, hammered down in stone. You can see the Excel spreadsheets of the receipts and transactions. You can see on video the items being taken. It's an assault case, and so a lot of it boils down to, do you believe the victim telling you I was assaulted? By show of hands, who here has children? Keep those hands raised for a minute and keep them raised if your child has never been dishonest with you. There's no way. Oh, you have the most honest child on this earth. I know this is taking it to very much, base level, but those very rare times I'm sure that your child wasn't honest with you fully, what kind of things did you look for in figuring out if they were being straight with you? Juror number 2. How did you figure out if your kid's being honest?
My kids would start crying if they started lying, so I got lucky.
You know their tells.
Yeah.
Juror number 6.
Eye contact.
What about that?
That's usually the telltale sign they're not telling the truth, if they are, not looking me or their mother in the eye. So
That's-
they're looking away.
That's absolutely fair. When your kids have, is that a fair tell that most people's kids have had, where they find it hard to look you in the eyes and lie to you? That's one that basically everyone brings up because that's what happens all the time. I find it very difficult to do that, especially if they know. Who here would be comfortable locking eyes with me and telling me in detail about their last time they had sex? Nobody. Imagine trying to do that when that sex act was against your will. A room full of strangers. They were expecting that it would be very easy for her to maintain that eye contact.
Yeah.
Like what? Who here is having a comfortable experience now sitting in this jury box having a talk with me? No hands ever go up for that. All of this process is uncomfortable and awkward. Does anyone here think they would have an easier time if they were the person sitting in that witness stand? Does anyone think that there is a way that she should be acting when she tells you about the worst moments that have ever happened to her? So if you can't look for that, what would you look for to try and judge if she's being honest with you? Look at this one. Mr. Freeman brought up something about consistency. Don't you think that would be something that you'd look for? You know, if you're saying the same thing happened to you each different time. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Who here has told the same story to multiple people in your life over the years? By choice. I mean, everybody, we're human. Has every detail of that story been the same every single time? Have the cores of that story been the same?
Definitely.
The cores of that story been the same? Would anyone be shocked if that same type of thing happens in a trial that was years after the last time they told the story? Does anyone here think that would make it less likely she's telling you the truth if small things are different from last time?
There is a
Same.
phone that keeps going off. I need to make sure that whoever it is, you turn it off, please. Thank you. We proceed.
If she's consistent every time you hit me, she just says a different hand. Does that make you believe that didn't happen?
No.
Does anyone here have a personal or strongly held religious belief that makes it difficult for you to judge someone else? You feel it's just not your place.
You say religious beliefs are.
Strong personal or religious belief that makes it where you just feel it's not your position to judge someone else. Everybody okay? As I've already said, you as a jury are never going to get to see every piece of evidence. No jury ever has that's ever been on a case. I mean, it's part of how our country's legal system works. So it is the most fair and impartial view of the evidence that a jury can have. That means that there are things I'd love to have in. There's things the defense would love to have in every single case. And you're just never going to know that that exists. That's the goal. If everything's done well, you will never know what you don't know. If you believe that the evidence you've been presented proves guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, but you still wish you could have heard from, I'm truly pulling random things here. I wish I could have heard from the neighbor. I wish I could have heard from that Uber driver. I wish we could have seen that Ring doorbell footage. Yes, I think the evidence they've shown is enough to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, but I wish we could have heard from blank person. Can you all still agree to make that decision based on what you have, if it's enough to come back with a verdict of guilty?
Yes.
Does anybody have any difficulty making that decision, knowing you're not going to know everything, you're not going to see everything, as long as it's enough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt? Is everybody comfortable with that concept?
Yes.
By that same token, you will not, by law, cannot know what the possible penalties are for these various crimes. That's by design. They want you making this judgment based on what you believe happened, what you believe the facts show happened, and not based on, well, we'll agree to get rid of the big stuff and the little stuff and just split it down the middle with the medium things. That's why you're not allowed to know those things. You're not allowed to know what the possible penalties are. Because after your verdict, you come back guilty on these crimes, the judge will then get everything. The police report states every possible thing that could factor into what should happen. And she is the one who sentences someone. It's something in the gallery.
We're trying,
We're working on it.
Trying to shut it down. Can't figure out how to shut it off.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Maybe you can go in the hall for a moment, Brian can help you, thank you.
Like I said, one of the most common kind of mental roadblocks that jurors have had in the past is, yes, I think it happened, but I don't know what the penalty will be. I had a trial where quite literally during deliberations, there were two jurors who just said, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can make this decision. It's such a big thing. What kind of impact could it happen? It's like, I just don't know. And at that point, it is too late to be, voicing those concerns. So that's why we have this here. Does anyone here feel that they're going to have any difficulty coming back with a verdict of guilty if they believe the evidence shows guilt, and you just don't know what will happen as a result? All right. Show of hands. Who here has had interactions with law enforcement? All the new people. The new people. All agree. So I think that was 2, 6, and 10. Juror number 2, what interactions have you had with law enforcement in the past?
Just some traffic stops. They came to my house once to check on my ex-husband.
Ah,
Yeah.
I understand.
That.
Did anything about that make you biased for or against law enforcement?
No.
You going to be able to judge them as witnesses like anybody else working any other job?
Absolutely.
Juror number 6, what's your involvement with law
I was
enforcement?
a dispatcher at dispatch 1560.
Here?
Yeah, Bingham County, yeah.
Sorry, 2015 and 2016?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you meant like for 15 or 16
Oh,
years.
no.
Okay, I gotcha.
No, 15, yeah, 2015. 2016.
Okay. Now, to be clear, you've already heard the date ranges for these crimes. You don't know anything about this case,
No,
right?
or any of the names mentioned.
Perfect, makes things easier.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel you can be impartial and fair to both sides in this case?
Yes.
Perfect. And juror number 10, what kind of experience have you had with law enforcement?
Trouble with my son.
So sorry. How long ago was he dealing with police?
Still,
Now, because of that, do you feel that the police are treating your son fairly?
sometimes.
Sometimes. Because of that, are you going to be able to sit and listen to officer testimony and view it like anybody else working any other job? Or is that just going to make it difficult for you?
To be honest, I don't think I could. I thought I could, but I don't think I can.
Hey, that is okay. Like I said, there aren't wrong answers here. I really do appreciate you being honest.
For 10, You don't think you can listen to the instructions and sit through the whole trial?
I don't know, to be honest.
I don't think any juror really knows in any kind of case, because it's all tough. When you have to make a decision against your fellow citizens, it's a daunting task. Will you be able to listen and then, will you note paper, take notes, and then discuss the issues with your fellow jurors and reach a decision, or will it be too troubling for you to listen to, so you won't be able to do that?
To be honest, I can try. That's all I can say.
Have you ever been told you have trouble dealing with tough issues, or have you felt that you have trouble dealing with tough issues?
Yeah.
And how do you handle those?
Seen a therapist for that.
Okay, so this is something that might add on to whatever you have. That would be a concern. We don't want to cause you any additional trauma or whatever you're going through. So do you think this might add on to that?
Yeah, I think so, because I can feel stress.
Okay, you're released. Any objection?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. As to juror 10,
Pool sequence number 258.
thank you, ma'am. You are now juror 10. Thank you, counsel.
All right. I'm gonna rapid fire some of those questions at you before I get back to the rest of the people.
So, given the nature of this case, do you feel it's gonna make you so uncomfortable, you're not gonna be able to pay attention to what's being said? Have you, close friends, or family member to your knowledge been the victim of domestic abuse before?
Yes,
And who has it been?
myself,
How far back are we talking?
over 10 years.
Now, are you gonna be able to sit and listen to Alyssa tell you what she went through and keep apart what you had to go through?
Yes, I can.
Now, did you end up? I apologize, my mouth failed me there for a minute.
Yeah.
Did you ever end up reporting it to the police?
Yes,
And was that an easy thing for you to do?
No.
Why not?
I mean, you love someone. It's hard, even if you're wrong. It's hard to put someone in trouble that you care about.
Right. Show of hands. Anyone here think that it's uncommon to still love the person who's hurting you? No. If you were to hear Alyssa say that she had difficulty telling someone about what he did, that she had difficulty leaving him after what he did, would that make you believe her less when she tells you he hurt her?
No.
Now, apart from that, have you had any other interaction? And where you were as a victim or a defendant?
I was a victim.
I figured, but that is something I absolutely have to ask. Given what you went through, are you going to be able to listen to these types of crimes and be able to be impartial to what's going on?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Now, you've already heard it said a bunch, and you're going to hear it say far more many times. That's because it is the bedrock of this system, reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt is my burden I have to meet. And I have to meet it specifically for the elements of each crime, not all the other bits around those elements. Can you all agree to hold me to that burden and not every single possible little detail beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes. Yes.
Now, one element that's in a lot of crimes, especially assault crimes, is intent. Did the defendant intend to cause great bodily harm, less than murder? Did he intend to strangle her? Did he intend to put his hands on her? That's different from motive. I don't have to prove motive, and you do not need to find motive. What you're asked is, does the evidence show he meant to do these things? He meant to put his hands on her. It wasn't an accident. He didn't trip and then accidentally keep himself up by her neck. Did he intend to hurt her? Not why. You are not asked to get inside the mind of someone who would hurt the person close to them. You are not asked to get inside their mind and figure out what could motivate them to violate another human being. What you are asked is, did he mean to do this? Does everyone here understand the difference between those two concepts?
Yes.
Can you agree to follow the law when it says, I don't have to prove the why, the motive?
Yes.
Like I said, beyond a reasonable doubt is my burden. The defense doesn't have any burden. They have rights. They have rights to a trial. They have rights to any witnesses they want, the subpoenas. They get the cops to help them get the subpoenas out. They have the right to all of my evidence, even things that aren't used at trial. See, I don't have those same rights. I am going to learn and am actively learning what the defense is at the same time you guys are. They already know what the charges are. But this is not about who presented more evidence. This is about who put on more witnesses. This is about, at the end of the day, does all the evidence prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt? And you guys are well aware, there are a lot of charges here. There's 18 different ones. You are not required to find guilty on every single one to find guilty. You are not required to be an all or nothing thing. You are required to evaluate them individually. While I certainly believe the evidence is going to prove each crime beyond a reasonable doubt, if you disagree, and if you all believe, you know, he proved these 12 beyond a reasonable doubt, but these 4, I just don't think there was enough there. It's your job to come back with not guilty on those 4. Can you all agree? Can you all agree? Wow, no. Do you all understand that it's not an all or nothing prospect?
Yes.
Like I said before, specifically for sexual assault crimes, the law that the judge will give you is that the victim does not need to be corroborated in order to find someone guilty of sexual assault. If you believe them, you believe it proves guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, you could still listen to her critically, come away believing her and thinking, yeah, but this doesn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, for whatever reason. That's okay. But what the law says is, let's say the only charge here was sexual assault, nothing else. It'd be a much shorter, more straightforward trial, but let's say that's what happened. And the only thing I did was put Alyssa on the stand. And she tells you about how he raped her. And then when she's done testifying, I rest, I sit down, I put on absolutely nothing else. If you believe that her testimony proves that crime beyond a reasonable doubt, the law is you have to come back with a verdict of guilty. It's going to be way more that happens in this trial because it's not the one charge. But I bring that up because it's something that, you know, I exclusively do these types of cases. And it's something that a lot of jurors have a problem with. I want to believe her, but I need more. It doesn't matter what she says, I always need something else to back it up. But the law says for sex assault crimes, you don't. You believe it proves it beyond a reasonable doubt. Her testimony is all that you need. Does anyone here, does that make anyone uncomfortable being told you have to follow that law? Juror number 14.
Yeah. What
about that makes it uncomfortable or difficult for you?
I can see myself, kind of spinning out a little bit, if I feel like there's just someone's narrative and there's like literally nothing else, to go on. I think I would have trouble
Hey.
coming to a decision.
I understand that. There's a reason I asked this. So let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible for someone to rape their partner and not leave any marks?
Yes.
If that happens, what evidence would there be of the sexual assault?
I'm just a person saying that, but I guess what I'm saying is that it's hard to tell what's evidence and what's not. I don't.
Or maybe what's credible?
Maybe, I mean, we don't.
Let's put it this way. If you listen to her, I'm not just saying, well, she said these words, therefore it ticks boxes. If you listen to her and evaluate her critically, not just, coming in if she says it is true. You're required to evaluate and judge every witness critically. And you come away believing beyond any reasonable doubt, this happened, he did. That's the only evidence presented at trial, is her words. Is that going to be enough for you to come back with verdict guilty, or will you still not be comfortable doing it?
I think I was actually doing that.
Okay. Look, I appreciate you telling me. The reason I ask these things is because they are a lot of times just base human instinct sometimes. So I appreciate you being honest about that type of thing. I know it's not easy being in that box. I only have a couple more questions, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Freeman. Does anyone here have any expectations about what a victim of domestic violence looks like? Does anyone here have any expectations about what a domestic abuser looks like? Does anyone here have any preconceived idea of how a victim of domestic violence would act on a witness stand? Can you all agree to follow the law as the judge gives it to you and apply it to the facts you are given at trial? And can you all agree to make your decision based solely on those two things, not anything else?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
On behalf of defendant.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. You're in seat number 13. You're with the Central Dispatcher in Ingham County.
I'm with Community Mental Health, so we provide behavioral health services in the Tri-County area. We're not county or state employees. We just have the authority from the counties to provide the services.
That's my error. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You're in seat number 14. Given the answers that you gave just a few moments ago, would you want you on your jury?
I would do my best, but I mean, I know that I tend to have a very literal mind and sometimes I don't process things exactly the way other people do.
Ma'am, let me just stop you there for a minute.
Yeah.
When you have a very literal mind, there might be somebody else who has things differently. That's
Yeah.
the great power of the jury, because with dissension, with disagreement, you all talk it out and you can reach a reasonable conclusion. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you have some worry about credibility or lack of credibility, but you have some common sense about you. I know you do, right? Would you agree that you have some common sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if do you sew it all?
Yeah.
Great. So if I took my robe and I took these scissors and cut around the bottom, you'd probably be able to tell that I cut the bottom
Yeah.
24 inches off, right, with scissors?
Yeah.
The edges would be ragged, wouldn't be straight. But then if I told you that it got torn or shortened because it got caught in the door, what would you believe when you looked at the fabric? What would you expect to see?
Yes, I would see the fabric, but in that case, that example, you're showing me the fabric, you're not just having someone tell me the story of the fabric.
Okay,
Do you see the difference?
yes, but I might also tell you, well, they wouldn't give me another robe, I really needed one, this was old and torn and tattered. And then I'm showing you this. It is very, I don't know the people's case, and maybe they can tell us if they have pictures. There's a police report, if we can't see it, I don't even get a copy. They've told you they have a few different witnesses, and granted, these things don't usually happen with eyewitnesses. But the victim tells her story, and then there's likely going to be other evidence. There might be torn clothing, scratches, and bruises. Maybe she fell down the stairs because she's just clumsy. Maybe the bruise got there a different way. Do you think that if you listened to her testimony and see if it added up or didn't add up, you could make a decision?
I think so.
Okay. And let me just verify with the people. Is there other evidence that you will be presenting besides the alleged victim?
Yes.
Does that help you out, ma'am?
Yes, it does, thank you.
Thank you. Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Juror in seat number 7. Dan Hardy. In your opinion, are trials about the truth or finding the truth?
Yes.
Okay, and what makes you say that?
Well, like presenting evidence, I guess. I don't know.
It's not you, it's me. Pardon me?
Like when you present evidence or, you know, hear from witnesses.
Well, do you understand that while on the one hand you may receive some mileage money or something, you're not going to be paid a detective's salary for sitting in this jury?
Right.
You're not acting as a juror to try to solve something.
Right.
Okay? You listen to the evidence, you go back, these are the elements. Am I satisfied this element was proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and go down the list? If you get to one of the elements that's no, then you mark the box that says not guilty and go to the next one. And you still don't know what happened.
Right.
Does that persuade you to modify your opinion as to whether trials are designed to ferret out the truth?
Perhaps.
You're in seat number 10, a phlebotomist.
Right.
And what functions do you take upon yourself other than drawing blood?
Well, we have to, there are cases where patients could be overwhelmed with the process. We do have patients that pass out, things of that nature. So we do have to make sure that we're comfortable looking at them in the face, those kinds of things.
I think you may have been here when I asked another person. I'm going to ask you, what is a bruise?
It's like a pool of blood underneath the skin.
And caused by some kind of trauma?
Yes.
Are you able to tell by looking how old a bruise is?
Yes.
And what's your understanding, just not with great particularity, just sort of a rule of thumb?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, how would you go about estimating the age of a bruise?
the color, and also like the circumference of a bruise, because it is blood that pools. Sometimes when those vessels are healing, the blood will go back in, so like the size of the bruise too.
And this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just by looking at the bruise, you couldn't tell what caused it. Okay. Someone could have a bruise, tell a story as to how it got there, and maybe it's a little bit exaggerated. On the other hand, as a medical person, is it also your experience that it could be plausible? Whatever story the patient is giving.
Yes.
Okay. Juror in seat 6.
Yes.
The judge is going to give all of you some instructions later. I don't want you to think that that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just asking a question. All right. You listen to what she says to the law is that you're to follow. Okay. But if you are, if you do hear this case and you're back in the deliberation room with 11 other folks, and all 11 want to vote one way, and you're just not there, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Could you have an open mind to listen to the other 11? And if you're not satisfied, could you stick to your guns, as it were?
Yes to both, absolutely. Yeah, I could have an open mind, but if I still don't feel that the prosecutors have proven a reasonable doubt, absolutely not. I won't change my mind, no.
All right, thank you. During seat number 5, do you agree or disagree with what that gentleman just said?
Yeah, I agree that we have disagreements all the time.
Oh, heavens, yes, sure.
And, sometimes you have to stick to your guns if you're really in certain.
Yeah, that's my long way to go around the issue of whether you could hold true to what you believe, or whether, you know what, it's just easier that it has to be a unanimous verdict. I'm the only one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
All right. During seat number 4, let me ask you a little bit different. Oh, excuse me. I don't know that you're 7, 10. I'm just trying. Who was the most recent to sit? Yes. Okay. You're in seat number 2, please. Could you agree or disagree that functioning as a juror is not something that you're supposed to try to solve a crime or figure something out?
I agree. It's not up to me to solve it. It's up to me to listen to the evidence and then decide if, like you guys have said, all of the boxes are checked.
Yeah, could you accept the fact that the law enforcement did an investigation and that concluded some time ago? That there's no need for you to sort of investigate?
Yeah, I don't think I could investigate.
Okay, good. In seat number 1, question I have for you is, if you're in the jury deliberation room with the others, and the first person that you hear speak says, well, I think he did it. Does that sound like proof beyond a reasonable doubt to you?
No.
Would you be comfortable questioning your fellow jurors? Why do you think that? What did you hear that I didn't?
Yeah, I want to know what made that choice.
Okay, thank you. I'm certain that Judge Aquilina is going to allow note taking by you folks in the jury box. And is that something you'd be interested in doing? Seat number 1? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
On behalf of the people for cause,
None for cause, but when it's defense's turn to lead.
not when I issue or not the list, so. For cause,
No, Your Honor, no cause.
peremptory.
People would like to thank and excuse jurors number 11 and 14.
Thank you very much. On behalf of defendant peremptory.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. The defense would like to thank yet again respectfully excuse jurors 8C2, 8, and 13.
Thank you. As to seat 11.
Sequence number 314.
As to seat 14.
Pool sequence number 410.
As to seat 2.
Pool sequence number 347.
Seat 8.
Pool sequence number 305.
Seat 13.
Pool sequence number 436.
All right, counsel, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Once again, these questions are going to be just for the people who have been recently added. You're going to see this process does tend to speed up and kind of snowball as it goes, whittle down further and further. So, all the new people who entered. Did you all hear the questions that have already been asked by myself and the defense counsel? Big, loud?
Yes.
All right. Gotta kind of, get you loose and ready to talk, maybe not sitting back there. Is there anything that you heard us talk about that you have a very strong belief on one way or the other that you think we should know about? No. Okay. Given the graphic nature of this type of case and the testimony that's going to happen in this case, do any of you feel they're going to be so uncomfortable with it that's going to make it difficult for you to pay attention and fully listen to what's being said? Has anyone here, either yourselves or a close friend or family member that you know of, been the victim of domestic or sexual abuse? I think show of hands was 2, so juror number 13, who do you know who's gone through something like that? And it was like, how long ago was that?
5 years.
Was that something that ended up going to the police or to the court system? As her mother, did you want her to report what happened to her?
Not necessarily. No, I thought that was her decision.
Did you, that's the wrong way to say that. Did you understand the decision that she made or accepted? Okay. Now, given that you would hear
testimony of crimes in the same vein as that, would you be able to listen to Alyssa tell you what happened to her and keep separate what happened to your daughter?
Yes,
Be able to still be fair and impartial, based on the evidence here and not based on what your daughter had to endure?
yes.
Thank you. Jury number 14, who do you know that's been the victim of this type of abuse?
Myself,
And how long ago was that?
about 3-4 years ago.
Now, did you end up reporting to the police what happened to you? Was that easy to do? Did that end up with charges or a criminal case? Are you going to be able to listen to Alyssa tell you what happened to her and keep separate what happened to you? By show of hands, who of the recent additions has had police interaction? Just for sake of time, I'll say beyond a traffic ticket, speeding ticket. Okay, juror number 8. And what type of police interaction have you had?
Oh, my best friend's he's a cop.
Where at?
And, well, he's retired as a sergeant from Manistee, but he's a fed now working for one of the Indian tribes.
Oh.
Up north. And I don't know any cops that you mentioned earlier on this.
That beats me to the punch for my next one. Are you going to be able to listen to officer testimony and, view it, weigh it as you would anybody else's testimony in any other profession?
Yes.
Okay. The goal is you judge the person's credibility, not the credibility of how they get paid. Is that safe to say you guys can do that? Does anyone here think that they have any strong personal or religious belief that makes it difficult for you to just sit in judgment of your fellow man? No. Juror number 2. Part of every trial is that you do not know what the possible penalty is for these crimes. If you believe the evidence shows guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, are you still going to be able to come back with a verdict of guilty, even though you don't know what the possible penalty the judge may give? Does anyone here have any difficulty deciding guilt or not guilt because of the possible penalties? No. Like I said, you're judging whether or not I have provided enough evidence to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt for each element of these crimes. Can you all agree to hold me to that standard and make me do my job?
Yes.
Does anyone here have any trouble telling me to my face I did not do my job?
No problem.
Perfect. Now, that standard is just to the elements, not to all the extra details that are around those elements. You all agree to not hold me past what I'm required to do here. You all agree it's not about what fist was used, just that she was hit. The judge is going to instruct you what the law is. I do not say what the law is. Mr. Freeman does not say what the law is. None of the witnesses say what the law is. I might try and beat judge to the punch and quote the jury instructions, but what I say is the final word. What Judge Aquilina tells you the law is, that is the final word. Can you all agree to follow the law as Judge Aquilina gives it to you, even if you may not agree with it personally?
Yes.
As I've said, you're not going to get to see everything in a case. You'll never get to see every piece of evidence in a trial. I know I'm saying this for like the 4th time now, but that's because it's pretty important. Does anyone here have an issue deciding guilt, knowing you're not going to see everything that exists about these crimes? Juror number 8.
I don't know. I'm having a little bit trouble with the timing of it.
In what way?
I mean, well, I can't remember exactly, but it sounded like these charges started in 2018. They made it all the way up to 2024, now it's 2026.
So part of what you'll hear Alyssa say is that she did not immediately report what happened to her. And that it took her a bit to actually tell the cops in detail about the various crimes he committed, particularly the older assaults and it was 2020. Does hearing her say that does it make it harder for you to believe her when she says that these crimes did happen to her?
No, I understand it would be difficult to come out right away, but I also know, for example, Duke University, the lady lied about the men's lacrosse team, that she was gang raped, and then there was a lot of trouble that came through, and then it found out a couple years later that she did lie about it. So when it takes a long time, it makes me wonder. My brother was in an abusive marriage, and within 3 years, he's like, okay, I've tried my best to resolve it, I had to move on. But how much time do you have to give somebody, you know what I mean?
That's for you to determine. The length of time is not an element, but that goes to the credibility or incredibility that you will all determine.
Could you say that again, ma'am?
Yes, length of time that this took, the span that you're talking about is not an element. Okay, there's nothing that says it has to happen in this amount of time or reported in this amount of time. What it goes to is the credibility of the evidence and the testimony, which you are the trier of fact. I determine what the law is. You decide what is credible or incredible. Can you listen to the estimate, the testimony, the evidence, and then determine what's credible and what's not?
Of course.
Thank you. So to that point, what reasons can you think of why a woman would wait to report what had happened to her in domestic abuse?
Are you asking me still?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some humiliation that goes along with that. I mean,
is there any other potential reasons that come to mind just immediately for you when you're thinking about this type of situation?
One more time with the question.
Sure. So are there any other reasons that immediately jump to mind for you personally as to why a woman might not immediately report or maybe never report what happened to her?
I'm not a woman, so I don't know. I mean, as a man, I would, defend my position or defend, try to resolve something in a certain amount of time, like that, for example, in my brother's case. So
Okay.
I can't speak for what a woman thinks. I'm not a woman.
Okay.
I don't mean
So
sexist, I'm just being.
No, it's fair. You're not, I'm not. But then, can you see why it would be maybe not the most perfect analogy comparing what took for your brother, a man, to come forward versus a woman? If, like you said, you're not a woman, you don't know reasons why. Can you see why that might not be the most perfect comparison to make?
Sure.
Wow. Would anyone here would it make you less likely to believe her if she tells you that she went back to him after he had beaten her? Show of hands. Does anybody here believe that that is cause to not believe her, that she went back to her abuser? Nobody. Does anyone here have any expectations about what a victim of abuse would look like? Does anyone here have any expectations of how a victim of prolonged abuse would respond to that abuse? Who's ever heard fight, flight, or freeze? How about the fourth one? Fight, flight, fear, or fawn?
Or what?
Freeze or fawn, F-A-W-N. Trying to be affectionate and loving because that might avoid further beatings. Does anyone here have any expectation of how she should have responded to this prolonged abuse? Or what she should have done in response to it? If she did not respond to it in a way that you like, or you approve of, or think should have happened, are you going to hold that against her? Does anyone here think that you can be raped by your partner? Does everyone here think it's possible to be raped by someone that you have had consensual sex with before? Does anyone here think it would be easy to talk about that in front of an open courtroom, in front of the person who raped you? Does anyone have any expectations of how she should be acting on that witness stand while talking about her rape in front of her rapist? Does anyone here feel I have to have a certain type of evidence to show you in order to convict on these charges? Does anyone here feel I have to have an eyewitness? Does anyone here feel I have to have the crime on video? Or that I have to have DNA evidence to show you? Are any of you going to require that of me in order to find guilt here? Can you all agree to follow the law as Judge Aquilina gives it to you and apply it to the evidence you get from that witness stand from the exhibits?
Yes.
Is there any reason you guys can think of as to why you would not be a good fit to serve on this jury? Okay, I have no further questions, Judge.
Thank you. On behalf of the defendant.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much. I'd like to start with the lady in seat number 14. I heard most of what you said when you answered counsel's question, but not all of it. You were a victim of crime, is that what you told us?
Yes.
Okay, and it was of a sexual assault of some kind?
Physical, sexual.
Okay. But what was interesting to me is I also thought I heard you say that it was not reported to law enforcement, no action was taken.
I didn't report it, but somebody else did.
And did law enforcement got involved?
Yeah, but it wasn't taken to court or anything like that. I didn't press charges.
Thank you. And the reason I'm asking these questions is because you can appreciate my client and I, neither of us would want you to be a juror in this case, thinking, I'm gonna make up for that. I'm gonna convict this fellow because no one was ever tried or convicted in my case.
Right, we never had a case.
Did you have any complaints about law enforcement and their conduct and their investigation in your case? And I think counsel asked you, but I'm gonna ask it slightly differently. Is there anything about your experience that you would feel as though you should bring with you to the deliberation room, share with other people?
No, that's separate.
You're in seat number 8. How can anyone prove a negative?
Can't prove a negative.
So one person can say, this happened, this happened, this happened. And the other person can't prove it didn't. Fair?
That's true.
Sure, in seat number 13, I asked this of someone else. I'd like to ask you if you don't mind. You appreciate, of course, that you're not going to be paid a detective's salary if you're on the jury, right? And are you of the opinion that jurors are supposed to solve crimes?
Can you word that again?
Is it your understanding that jurors are, your duty would be to solve a crime?
No.
Thank you. On the other hand, is it your understanding that you simply take the evidence that you've seen, that you've heard from the trial with you to the deliberation room. And if the judge reads you the law the way I believe it's going to come in, it would say you don't have to leave your common sense out on the street.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Just from life, human behaviors. Juror in seat number 11, what does beyond a reasonable doubt mean to you, sir?
Probably more likely than not.
All right, let me put it this way. I want you to just imagine, just making a point. I want you to put the deed to your house up there on that railing. I want you to put your 401k up on that railing. I want you to put all the money in the savings account up on that railing. And then go vote. We secretly have a video of the entire situation. And if you vote incorrectly, that's all mine. How confident are you in placing your vote if those were the potential consequences?
I'd still be confident.
Beyond a reasonable doubt, a judge will tell you, but it means not precise, exact, ultimate certainty, but pretty doggone close. It's, could you accept the fact that beyond a reasonable doubt is not more likely than not?
I think I'm confused by the wording just a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah. Me too. Has to do with the degree of certainty in making a judgment decision. Would you agree with me? Most folks wouldn't take stock advice from an 8-year-old.
Correct.
Okay. And it's not whether you believe the 8-year-old, maybe you do, but is it reliable? You walking with me?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't believe the word believe is in any of the instructions. I think it all has to do with whether testimony is sufficient to persuade or convince you beyond a reasonable doubt. Nothing to do with believing. Is it reliable? Is that consistent with what your understanding is?
Yes.
Sir?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Your Honor.
On behalf of the people for cause,
None for cause, Your Honor.
on behalf of the defendant for cause,
No, Your Honor, thank you.
on behalf of the people for injury.
People would like to thank and excuse juror number 8.
Thank you. On behalf of the defendant,
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. The defense would like to thank and respectfully excuse jurors 8 and 2. Please.
8 was already excused by the people, so the other one is 2.
Yes, Judge.
All right.
And if I may.
You may.
I was 8 and 10. Please. What?
8 and 10 or 2? You said 8 and 2. Is it 2 and 10? 8 was already excused by the people.
Yes, and therefore 10 and 2 would be.
10 and 2. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for that correction.
No problem. On behalf of, let's see, the clerk, yep, here she is, juror seat 8.
Pool sequence number 341.
And juror seat 2.
Pool sequence number 405.
And finally, juror seat 10.
Pool sequence number 215.
Thank you. have the people when you're ready.
Good afternoon. See, less and less each time. Now, were you all able to hear the questions that myself and the defense attorney asked many, many times now? All right, they loud, yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now, do any of you have a really strong belief about what we've touched on so far that you feel you want us to know? It's important in potentially serving as a juror. Okay. There's three of you. I can actually just call individually now. This is so much worse for you. All right, now it's just cold call. Juror number 10. Now, the nature of this case is unfortunate to say the least and pretty graphic. Are you going to be able to sit and listen to Alyssa talk about that type of detail without being so uncomfortable that you're not able to pay attention to what she's saying?
Yes.
Number 2, juror number 8. You guys agree? You guys listen to what she's saying despite the discomfort?
Yes.
Now, show of hands. Have either yourselves, close friend, or a family member that you know of been the victim of either domestic abuse or sexual abuse? Okay. Juror number 8. Who do you know who's been abused like this?
My wife and prior girlfriend.
And how far back is what happened to your wife?
Probably 20 years ago, prior to us being married.
So it's before you knew her, is that safe to say?
Yes.
Now, are you going to be able to listen to what Alyssa tells you happened to her and keep separate what's happened to the women you've known?
Yes.
Are you going to be able to be fair and impartial for this?
Yes.
Juror number 2, who do you know who's been abused before?
My mother-in-law, about 25 years ago, in marriage to my husband's biological father.
And are you going to be able to listen to what Alyssa tells you and keep separate what happened to your mother-in-law?
Yes.
You can be able to be fair and impartial to both sides in this trial?
Yes.
Have any of you, either yourselves, close friend, or family member, been accused of any such crime like this before? To your knowledge? No. Have any of you had police interaction before beyond just standard speeding traffic tickets? Oh, everybody. All right, juror number 2.
My husband's uncle is the chief of police of Spring Arbor, and my husband's grandpa was a former dive officer and FBI.
Sorry, you said what officer?
The dive.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it right the first time at all.
I don't know the correct term.
I understood what you meant. Are you gonna be able to be impartial to the police witnesses and not give them more or less credibility based on where they get their paycheck from?
Yes.
Juror number 8, what type of police interactions have you had?
My cousin's a retired inspector from the state police. I'm retired, but I was 31 years in corrections.
Which one? Or what facility did you move all over?
No, I started in Kalamazoo as a probation officer for about 1.5 years, 6.5 years as a parole officer, 4 years representing the state parole violation hearings, and then, and don't hate me, Judge, I oversaw Compass for the state.
You oversaw what?
Compass.
Are you going to be able to be fair and impartial and just base your decision on the evidence you receive and not, the fact that it's the people on one side or that the people are calling police witnesses?
Yes.
Juror number 10, what police interactions have you had?
In the past 4 months, I've had 2 cars stolen, so I've dealt with the police because of that.
Fair. How was your interactions with them that time? Do you feel like they helped you or they let you down?
They helped me.
Glad to hear it. Now, with that being said, with police witnesses here, are you going to be able to be fair and impartial to the police witnesses and not, give them more or less weight based on what they do for a living?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Now, you are not going to be told what the possible penalties are Some of you with experience might be able to hazard a guess, high, but you're not going to be told what the possible penalties are for these crimes. That's because you're supposed to be judging solely on the evidence and not worried about what could happen as a result. Does anyone here believe they're going to have any difficulty coming back with a verdict of guilty simply because you're not sure what's going to happen? No. All right. Does anyone here have any strong personal or religious belief that makes it difficult for you to stand in judgment of somebody else? Juror number 2. The standard here is reasonable, beyond a reasonable doubt. And it only applies to the elements of the crimes, not to all the extraneous details around those crimes. Can you agree to hold me to that standard?
Yes.
Can you agree that, pledge to me that if I don't do my job, you're going to come back with not guilty?
Yes.
8 jurors 10. Can you guys follow her in that? In pledging, you will hold me accountable if I don't do my job.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, like I said, the judge is the person who tells you what the law is. She is the decider on the law. You apply the law given to the facts you get from the witness stand and from the exhibits. You see, does it go beyond a reasonable doubt? And because that word gets thrown around a lot, I want to be really clear here about what reasonable doubt is defined as in the law, because I get a preview of what she'll tell you. And what it says is that a reasonable doubt is a fair, honest doubt, growing out of the evidence or lack of evidence. It's not merely an imaginary or possible doubt, but a doubt based on a reason and common sense. A reasonable doubt is just that, a doubt that is reasonable after a careful and considered examination of the facts and circumstances of the case. Does anyone here think they would have difficulty in deciding what in your head is a reasonable doubt versus an unreasonable one? No. There's a little thought in the back of your head that says this is all big government conspiracy. You're gonna call that an unreasonable doubt? Please say yes to that. Okay, good. Now, if you do not agree with the law as Judge Aquilina gives it to you, you just personally don't think that's how the law should be. I don't think that that's what the crime should be. I don't think that's what X should be. You all agree to kind of ignore that personal belief during this trial and go solely off what Judge Aquilina tells you the law is?
Yes. Yes.
Do any of you believe it? Does any of you find it strange that a victim of domestic abuse would go back to their abuser?
No.
Is anyone here surprised or concerned that a victim wouldn't immediately report what happened to them?
No.
Would any of you be surprised if a victim never reported what happened to them? No. If she tells you, I didn't report it for blank amount of time, I didn't report it for several years, does that make you less likely to believe her when she says, this happened to me? No. Does everyone here agree that you can be raped by someone you have been previously having consensual sex with?
Yes.
Does everyone here agree it's not possible to consent if you're unconscious?
Yes.
Does everyone here agree to base their decision on the evidence and not on who you like more or dislike more?
Yes. Yes.
So said, you're never going to get to see every piece of evidence in the case. Ever. No jury ever has for as long as we have had a justice system in this country. Knowing that you're not going to get to see everything and still being asked to make this call, are you confident you'll be able to make this call based on what you're given?
Yes.
And it's brought up the analogy of you're not detectives, you're not solving crimes. That's true, but your job is to decide what did happen. Decide, does the evidence show this is what happened beyond a reasonable doubt? Based on what you're given. Can you all be confident that you're able to make that call, to make that decision?
Yes.
Can any of you think any reason why you may not be a good fit to serve on this jury?
No.
Okay. And with that, I have no further questions.
On behalf of the defendant,
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Any of the questions I posed earlier with respect to residency and other qualifications to sit on a jury in this county, any reactions from the new folks?
No.
I see no hands, thank you. During seat number 2, if your residency was challenged, in other words, I don't think you lived there, what might you do or show to the contrary that, yes, I do live there?
I would provide the deed to my house, the bills that I pay for my home, my belongings in the homestead. My phone has a tracker in it, I'm sure that it's able to be.
If you had that address on a piece of personal identification, would you think that's significant to show residency?
Yes.
Thank you. And you spoke of personal belongings. Let me follow up just briefly. Even if there was a second or a third person living in the same household, nevertheless, could you identify personal items that are yours and yours alone?
Yes.
Okay. And again, that would be to show that, why are they in this house? It's because I live here. That sort of just makes common sense, but I'm asking you, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Thank you again. You're in seat number 8. If you have an opinion, if you can answer, on the other hand, if not, that's fine too. Do you have an opinion as to whether phrases like, I'll kill him, I'll kill you, I could have killed you, this word kill doesn't necessarily and automatically ring of actually extinguishing someone's life?
True, I guess it'd be all, what's the context, what's the situation?
Sure, of course. But the words themselves don't necessarily and automatically.
No.
Okay. Thank you. You're in seat number 10. You've heard this phrase, actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
What does that mean to you, sir?
Action speaks louder than words. It means you're doing what you're saying.
All right. So if the testimony from a witness was, I have never been more scared in my life than I was at that moment. And the next question is, well, what did you do? I went out in the kitchen, made a sandwich, and finished watching the ball game. If the words don't match the behaviors, which do you lean toward?
I don't know.
Okay. Thank you. I'll ask then, juror back in seat number 2. Did you, actions speak louder than words? You've heard of that.
Yes.
All right. So does that mean to you that if someone says something, it does something entirely different? The words weren't really important. It's what someone does. Is that fair?
I think both are important, but context plays into what seems truthful.
Thank you. Yes, George, seat number 8 again, please. I believe that there's going to be some evidence of some profanity, name calling, whether through text messages or some other medium that have been preserved and that I think you're going to see. And my question is, if one person is upset, swearing, calling names, does that automatically or necessarily mean, in your view, that an allegation of assaultive behavior necessarily follows?
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor, and that's all I have.
Your Honor, tonight.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you asked this question early on, but 31 years in corrections, unfortunately, I'm already seeing what the prosecution is going to go, their tack and the defense tack.
So you're starting to form decisions already?
I am, unfortunately.
And you're not going to be able to unwind them, paying attention to the evidence, or?
Again, I think it'd be difficult based on my career.
I would agree with you, sir. Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Appreciate you raising that. Sir, you are excused. As to juror seat 8.
Pool sequence number 246.
Thank you. We just can't seem to fill number 8. I'm not sure if we should play that number in the lottery or avoid it. So, all right, thank you, sir. Counsel, would you like to?
Do we want to do the round of challenges first before we do any questions?
That's fine. For cause?
None for cause, Your Honor.
For cause?
None, Your Honor.
Peremptory?
None.
Peremptory?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jurors in seats 13 and 14, please.
Thank you. As to juror seat 13.
Pool sequence number 297.
And juror seat 14.
Pool sequence number 274.
Counsel, when you're ready.
Thank you. Can we approach very briefly?
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, counsel. When you're ready, you may proceed.
Good afternoon. Again, I gotta do that, otherwise you just never want to talk once you're in the box. Okay. Curtis. You good? Okay. You've heard us talking for a while now. I'm gonna be asking a lot of these questions again, because I have to earn my paycheck somehow. But is there anything we talked about that you have a very strong personal belief about that you think we should know when serving as a juror?
No.
Okay. Now, juror 13. This is going to be a difficult trial to sit through, not just because of the number of charges, but because of what those charges are and the gratification. Are you going to be able to
listen thoroughly to what's being said to you, despite how uncomfortable it might be.
That's, as the days progress and you keep asking that question, that's one that, with, 2 young adult daughters and going through and having girlfriends and going through this, it's, I'm definitely worried about that. I'm gonna, like, I think I can do it, but that's definitely the one piece.
That's all we ask of you. All we ask is you be as honest as you can, be as self-reflective as you're capable of being. Juror number 14, how about you? You can be able to sit through it? You can be able to sit through it and listen to that type of evidence? Juror number 8?
I can sit through it.
Okay. Now, have any of you, either yourselves, friends, or close friends and family members that you know of been victims of sexual or domestic abuse? Okay. Now, you've heard several jurors talk already about how they were victims and how many of them didn't go forward. You hear Alyssa say, I went back to my abuser, I didn't report what happened to me for years. Does that make any of you less likely to believe her when she says that abuse happened? Does anyone here have, any of you three have a preconception of what a victim looks like, how a victim should act when they're being abused? I know the example is used of, well, if I say I was scared, then I went and got a sandwich and sat down on the couch, what to look at. If you were to hear, I went, made a sandwich and came back to the couch because I was afraid I would get beaten if I didn't. Does that make you believe her when she says she was scared?
Yeah.
Even though she went and got the sandwich and came back to the couch? I think it was Juror 2 who said it, but context really matters for that, right? Any of you feel like you're going to have any difficulty judging credibility of witnesses on that witness stand, serving as a juror?
No.
Does anyone here have any prior law enforcement interactions or friends and family who are in law enforcement? Juror number 13, who do you know?
Don't know, but had interactions, when I was younger in college, so had a couple arrests, and that's some time, so.
Do you feel you were treated fairly?
For the most part, yes.
For the most part. I think that's fair.
Yes, because I didn't make the mistake, so I totally get what they were doing.
I never did mistakes in college. Are you going to be able to listen to the police testify and view them? I mean, frankly, judge their credibility as people, not as professions. Juror 8, 14, do either of you think you're going to have any difficulty viewing them as people and not as badges?
No.
Great. By design, you're not supposed to know what the possible penalties are for these crimes. Do you feel you're going to have any difficulty or hesitation coming back with a verdict of guilty simply because you don't know what might happen as a result of that? No. You're also not going to see every piece of evidence because every piece of evidence can't be admitted in a trial because of various different rules of evidence. Are you willing, not willing, are you confident that you can make this decision based on the evidence you have at the end of the day and not the evidence you wish you had?
Yes.
Juror number 14, can you agree to follow the law as the judge gives it to you?
Yes.
Can you agree to ignore what I or the defense attorney say the law is and rely solely on what the judge says the law is?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Now, as we've said many times, the defendant does not have any burdens in a trial. Literally, that entire table could take some well-deserved rest and sleep throughout all of it. And if I don't do my job, it's your duty as a juror to come back with a verdict of not guilty. Can you all agree to hold me to my task?
Absolutely, yes.
The defendant also has the right to not testify. If he chooses to go by his Fifth Amendment right that we all have, can you agree that is not to factor into your deliberations at all? In sexual assault cases, part of the law is that the victim's testimony does not need to be corroborated to find someone guilty. And that's because of the very intimate, private nature that is sex assault crimes. But it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. We've already seen that because, we're human. If the only thing you hear about the sexual assault is what she tells you, what she describes happening, and you come away believing it beyond a reasonable doubt. You believe it shows that crime happened beyond a reasonable doubt. That's all I do. Are you going to abide by the law and come back with a verdict of guilty?
Yes, yes.
Okay, these crimes have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt to the elements, not everything else. I use the example every time of proving that there was an assault, not which hand was used. That's because it's the best one I can think of. Can you all agree to hold me to the burden of proving the elements beyond a reasonable doubt and not every single factor or thing that happened around it?
Yes, yes.
Court is not like TV shows, and investigations are not like TV shows. It's not like CSI, it's not like Suits or anything along those lines. There's not going to be some big dramatic reveal or bombshell witness that comes to the door. There's not going to be zoomed in DNA fingerprint analysis or anything like that. Is anybody going to hold me to that expectation that it's going to be like TV?
No.
Is anyone here going to think, wow, they didn't have, like, there's not enough there because there wasn't some big bombshell reveal? Does anyone here think there's always eyewitnesses to crimes? Apart from the person who committed it and the person it was done to? Can you all agree to follow the law as the judge gives it and apply it to the facts that you get in this case?
Yes.
Last question I have, juror number 8. I'll harp on this a bit more because it's important. You're picked to serve on this jury. Back in deliberations, and a fellow juror says to you, I think the evidence proved this beyond a reasonable doubt, but I wish we could have heard from the Uber driver. What are you going to tell that juror?
I mean, it's only we look at the evidence that was given to us that we're able to see that you're giving us to you're on the case, not outside evidence.
Fantastic. One of the last things I will say, I'm going to quote a former juror from one of the other trials, but she said it fast and I could not copy it. You are not supposed to commit clean slates. You're supposed to use your common sense and your judgment. And what she told me was, how she described to me was, the evidence took me to here, and my common sense took me to the extra last step. You are supposed to be humans in there, thinking, feeling, and talking with each other. Supposed to hold to convictions, but also not be so blinded by them that you're not engaging with your fellow jurors. It is deliberations for reason and not just a straight vote, well, that's where we're at. Can you all agree to deliberate with each other, to be open and honest with each other as jurors?
Yes.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
On behalf of the defendant,
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much. Prospective juror in seat number 14. You indicated on your form that you're a scientist?
I'm a retired scientist, so worked at drinking water laboratory.
Thank you very much. Any work in the Michigan Department of State Police Crime Laboratories? Okay. And sitting next to your juror, number 13, what is a director of data?
So I lead a team in creating databases and creating cloud databases, and then from there we create reports from it to help drive the business, to show us where our profits are, to show us how we can get there.
Do you work for the government or a private agency?
Private.
Oh, okay. Was there anything about any of the questions that you've heard me ask others that you would have responded to?
Can't think of
Would you agree that you can't really prove a negative?
You can't really prove what?
A negative.
I don't know.
How could you possibly prove that you were not in Los Angeles, California last weekend? How could you prove that you were not there? You'd have to prove that you were somewhere else.
Right.
Prove the positive. Okay. So it's well, virtually impossible for someone to prove a negative, but I did not do something. Does that meet with your understanding of life generally? Okay, thank you. And back to the gentleman in seat 14. Were there any of the other questions that you would have responded to that you say, hey, that applies to me?
Yeah.
Any reason at all why you can't be fair and impartial in this trial? And the last thing before I sit down, I'm going to ask both of you to look up and down the road. Do you know anybody else who's up there right now? Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
on behalf of the people for cause,
None for cause, Your Honor.
on behalf of the defendant for cause,
None for cause.
on
Thank you.
behalf of the people peremptory.
None, Your Honor.
Thank you. On behalf of defendant,
Yes, Your Honor. 20 seconds, please.
thank you.
We're satisfied, Your Honor.
We have a jury. All right, so for the rest of you, thank you for spending your day with us. This is Friday, so you no longer have to call in and you're good for 1 year. So I'll see you next year. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. All right, for the rest of you, Monday, we will work from about 9 until 3 o'clock. Monday, there'll be a shorter lunch. We'll be buying your lunch because we want to make the most of the day. Before I release you to Brian, who's going to show you how to come in and where the jury room is, I just want to give you some brief instructions. I will read you a set of instructions as I did today, but I need to go over some things. I will not impanel you, swear you again until Monday morning when I will swear you in during the instructions I read to you. First of all and foremost, this is not a homework class. No research, Googling, don't brush up on legal terms, nothing. If there is a legal term or medical term or anything else we want you to know, the lawyers will present it to you when we were all here on this case, so no homework. For those of you who read the newspaper, the radio, the television, follow up on the news, like my mother had news on every television and radio that she ever entered. And my father scanned every single corner of all the newspapers. If you're like that, please set down the newspaper, read the Meyer advertisements of Kroger's, read other things, but not politics, but nothing in regard to the crime in the city. The media, I'm always surprised at what they report on. And I'm here every day, I don't always know they're here. They may sit in the back, they also may be on Zoom. They report. I usually hear that they've been here because somebody sent me an article saying, asking me a question about what just appeared in front of me or whatever. They send it to me and say, there you are again, or something. That's how I find out. So I can't even tell you they're here. So I don't know whether this story is going to be in the newspaper or not. No idea. So please, don't listen to the local news, don't read it. Don't, if the radio turns on and they have those little blips about what's going on in our community, please don't listen, put the station to music. You cannot get any information from any source except this courtroom. Additionally, your family, coworkers, friends, spouses, children, you can tell anybody you want that you have been selected for a jury, but not what courtroom. Because what they will do ultimately is go on my docket, look at the case, look at whatever they want to, because it's all on the line, online now. They'll figure out who you're in front of and what the case is, and then they're going to give you their opinions. Because they think that matters and it's important that they weigh in on what your job is. The answer is no. The only one in charge of this is you. You determine what the facts are from the evidence in this case. What they tell you or want to tell you cannot be allowed. And if that does happen, if someone tries to tell you information, we need to hear about it. You are not allowed to discuss this case until the time comes for me to tell you that you're going to go back there, read your notes, use your collective memories, and decide on this case. We've given you locations, a couple of different locations, as I read the felony information. Do not drive by or Google or research them or any names of any witnesses. You have juror stickers there. There are plenty in the back. Take some home with you. If you wear a jacket, I need that juror sticker on your jacket. I need it on your shirt. Have an extra one in your pocket because some fabrics, they fall off. Police officers are famous for doing this. We try to remind them, but sometimes they have so many cases and sometimes they'll meet another officer by the elevators and as they're standing, oh, what case are you here on? What are you doing? What do you think? If you are standing by a witness or by a police officer who you think is talking about this case, show them your juror sticker and tell them to stop talking. If someone doesn't stop talking, please report that to us at once. And if you do overhear something or think you've overheard something, please advise us at once. Counsel and I cannot talk to you. So if I see you in church or Myers or I don't know, the farmer's market, you see any of us, we cannot talk to you. We can't even say hello because it would give the appearance that we are talking about the case. So after the case is over, stop me at Myers or the farmer's market or church or stop counsel, they'll be happy to talk with you, but until the case is over, we simply can't talk to you. Wear layers. I don't know if you've noticed it. I'm in this robe, so I can't tell if it's hot or cold. I'm usually running warm because this robe is like, imagine wearing a robe all day over your clothes. It gets really warm under this robe. So I always have some ice water. Sometimes though, it's really chilly in here. So I usually also have some coffee. So I would dress in layers. You can bring a cup with a lid and drink whatever you want as long as it's non-alcoholic. You can eat what you want, but no tainted gummies, okay?